They're pairing up, and here's the voice of the USF Championships, Rob Howden.
Steve, thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. Getting set to go, as we said, Papa Savas and Quinn Armstrong on the front row. Jay Howard, driver development on the inside. D-Force Racing on the outside. The start zone, when they get out of the corner, Papa Savas is going to roll. You got to watch for wheel spin. Get the car straight. Green flag going to fly, and we are underway. Green, green, green. Racing in USF2000. Big jump as well from Michael Costello, trying to find his team, follow his teammate through. He's to the inside. Thus far, drivers are doing a good job through the opening corner, through turn number 1. They'll work their way out of 1 to the famed keyhole. A bit of a climb up the hill. You'll see the drivers 3, maybe 4 wide. And again, Papa Savas taking full advantage of the open racetrack, no spray. Same goes for Quinn Armstrong as he tucks the car to the inside a little bit, maybe gave up a little bit in terms of the corner. And the driver's going around. Potential contact coming out of the corner just on the left side of the screen. A driver maybe around there. Rusty Bell, could you see that from where you are?
Well, we had Jace Bacon go around to turn 1. There's so much spray, I can't see the exit of the keyhole turn yet.
There they are, back down into turn number 9, the first time through, the turn number 4 through turn number 5. Again, I believe I saw a driver go around. Have not heard anything yet about it from race control, but you can see that driver working its way around. Potentially the car 2 could be stationary. Another spin coming down out of turn number 5, guys. That may have been the leader. Was that indeed the leader? Another driver off the your right down there. That's the 11. So that, I believe, might have been Papa Savas and Quinn Armstrong. First and second getting together over in turn number 5. Those drivers were in a great position. We are now full course yellow, and Max Taylor has taken over the lead. Taylor had slotted into 3rd, and the leaders getting together, full course caution. And there is Quinn Armstrong coming off a difficult Road America weekend, a great starting spot, and he finds himself sideways. Of course, didn't quite get the chance to see that, but Tom Michael, I believe, happening right in front of you. Did you see what happened with our leaders?
Yeah, one of the cars came up over top of the hill. Now, it was the one that had a little bit of an edge as they came up over top of 5, spun, caught the other car, and I think that the car that got hit is the one that's actually sitting down there, just off in the grass over there by the barrier coming on to turn 7.
Yeah, I think it was Papa Savas and Armstrong. I think you're absolutely right.
So Papa Savas potentially going around, coming over the hill. And John, you and I have talked about this. There's parts of this racetrack, they get super light. We're actually going to have a look at the replay here, folks. We'll have a look at it at home here. We'll try to run our way back through this. Papa Savas and Quinn Armstrong. I got the start. Here they come up over the top of the hill. Car super light. Of course, you're trying to get back to power, and Papa Savas on power, loses the rear, and that's going to be right rear damage to Quinn Armstrong. Quinn with nowhere to go at all. Papa Savas just losing the rear, going back to power. Again, it's the undulations of this racetrack. The car gets super light. You're back on power, trying to roll through on it. And I'll tell you that the benefactor here was Max Taylor in 3rd. He watched it happen and was able to cruise down into turn number 6.
It looked like Papa Savas, however, was able to continue. He rejoined in about 10th position, so he'll have an opportunity to redeem himself. Yeah, he came by in 9th as they came by start-finish, but we're stacked up behind the Honda Civic Type R pace car, and we're seeing the car that was off up at the keyhole turn.
Thomas Schrag, I think. I think the number 2 of Thomas Schrag in the VRD machine. There he is right there. Thomas being able to pull away. And listen, John, we talked about, hey, you qualify on pole. The benefit, no
spray.
No spray in your face, all this visibility, but you're also the first guy through every corner, right? Yep. You don't know what the grip level's like. You're not watching the driver in front of you. Is he dancing? Do you need to get off the throttle a little bit?
Right.
Maybe a little easier on the turn-in. No, he's the first guy through. He's on the throttle, and again, just misjudged it, and around he went. Again, tough one for Quinn Armstrong. He's the guy that ends up being the damaged car.
Sure.
He was the collateral damage of what happened there, going off with damage to the right rear. No fault of his own whatsoever. Max Taylor getting the benefactor there. Nicholas Giafoni up into 2nd. Costello 3rd. Cox 4th. Garcia 5th. Ayrton Hauk, who started, where did Ayrton start? Back in 14th. He's up into 6th. What a fantastic opening lap for Ayrton Hauk. And then we've got Sam Corey, Joey Brienza, Papa Savas, and Gold. We do have a replay as well of what happened over in turn number 2, the keyhole. And I had said they looked like there was side-by-side contact, drivers getting together. I don't know if one driver I lost him. I watched them as they come down through. You're likely looking at 4th or 5th on back. Not 4th. There's let's see back there. 5th. That's Giafoni on the inside. Thomas Schrag potentially on the outside. Giafoni's running the inside line. Way to the outside. Is it further back? It is indeed a little bit. No, that's him right there. There's the contact there. A little further back behind the 3 of Taylor. Can't quite see which driver. Someone made contact with Thomas Schrag coming out of the corner as the cars were tracking out, heading over to the exit point.
Yeah, he was kind of an innocent bystander there. So he was going around the outside of that turn. The driver to the inside, which we weren't able to see the number from that replay, just got loose and tapped him into a spin. So
we're still on yellow. So if we can see that replay again, I'd like to have it now that John and I've had a kind of a chance to look at it and get some detail. That would be great because again, you're doing the best you can, right? You're trying to hold a line. That's one of the things when you're in the wet like this. It's hard to make a big lane change. The minute you make a lane change, you put so much wheel into it. Look a bit further back, top of the hill. I think that might have been Elliot Cox down the inside. Yeah, Elliot's down the bottom. He loses the rear end a little bit. Coming in the inside, he gets into the side of the number 2. You can see Brienza getting by cleanly, Garcia getting by cleanly, but it looked like Cox had the car down to the bottom, and he's holding on to it. But again, as he's rolling on the throttle, the rear end comes around, and at that point, he's got to put steering input back into it.
Exactly right.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough for both those drivers. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It'd be hard to assign fault, to that.
Yep.
You could certainly say that Cox might have been the one to look at, but race control might look at that as a racing incident. Hey, it's the first lap. They're side by side on a wet racetrack. What are you going to do?
Tough, of course, for Evagor's Papasavas for that spin, although, as John said, he come back into ninth. He was P9, so he was able to continue. Taylor, of course, rolling through. Another driver spun. That's Garcia. Garcia has gone around as well under the yellow. The AMR crew, you can see to the right side, working their way back to their post, but that's a spin coming down out of turn number 6 for Max Garcia. Not sure whether that was contact or, again, just getting on the throttle early. Again, we're getting a feel for what it's like with this racetrack in the wet. How do these Continental tires grip on this new pavement? We do have a look at the spin for Max Garcia as well as, again, laps clicking away as the drivers work their way around here. We'll have a look at what happened. They're coming down. There's the AMR safety crew, and this is something you don't want to see when the crew is still on the racetrack. Garcia rolls down into the corner, simply loses it at apex.
Yep. Got on the throttle a little bit, and off around it went.
Well, and here's the weird thing about the track as well. It's got so much. It hasn't been run a lot, number one.
Yep.
The rubber's gone down. We were here on track on Thursday, but the rain washed it away.
Yep.
The rain last night again. We were on track all earlier today. The rain has come to wash that off a little bit. It's almost like there's no real rain line as of yet. We haven't seen anybody really get out. We've seen drivers spinning on the inside, spinning on the outside. Normally, when you're trying to tighten an apex like Max was down to the inside, if you're trying to really tighten that apex, the rear end's going to come around on you. You need to be wider and maybe a little more soft on the steering. Tough one for Max Garcia. Of course, he'll lose a couple of spots there. I don't know whether or not he'll be able to come back up to his position or not.
I noticed just as we cut away from the replay, Garcia was passing some cars trying to retake his position. Is he permitted to do that?
I was just saying that. I don't know whether or not that's the case. If you spin under the yellow, I actually don't have that call. I am being told that the incident between the number 2 and the number 67 of Schrag and the 67 Cox, that's under review right now. And I'm also getting told that Max Garcia is being sent to the tail of the field, spinning on the yellow. So here he is. That's him right there, falling to the tail of the field. So he'll go all the way behind now, I believe. I want to say Thomas Schrag, but Schrag may be a lap down, so he'll be probably just in front of Thomas Schrag. So, indeed, more excitement than we expected, I think, at the start of this race. The leader initiating essentially the chain reaction. We saw a couple of events on track. We had the wreck up in turn number 2. We had the spin in turn number 5 and 6. And then another one in 6. Number of drivers going off. Let's just say that everybody kind of maybe struggled to figure out this racetrack early, John.
Exactly right. Well, it's a curveball thrown to these drivers as we see somebody going right down through the puddle here, down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, there's the 67 of Elliot Cox. So, indeed, incident responsibility, not surprising, between Cox and Thomas Schrag.
They're sending him to the back as well.
Yeah, so he's going to go to the back as well for the contact between he and Thomas Schrag. So, a lot of drivers with some issues here. Our new Honda Civic Type R pace car bolting away from the field as they come down into Thunder Valley because that car has got to get back to pit lane because the green flag will fly this next time by. We've put 4 laps in the books. It'll be lap 5 when they come back around. So it'll be 15 laps remaining, a lapse time, 12 minutes. And again, we could be up on a time, as I said on this one here. Still 27 minutes remaining. Lots of time still left in the run. But this is going to put Max Taylor, who comes in here 4th place in points. He is going to be your leader. He punches off. Oh, and he almost loops it coming out of the corner as well. He got way on the throttle. Lost a bit of that, but Giafoni was not close enough to be able to make a run. Here they come down into turn number 1 whatsoever. And more contact there. Ayrton Hauk together with Costello. Drivers together into turn number 1. Another driver can't make the corner from further back. I think that's going to be Jace Bacon again going off in the number 7. Bacon not able to make the corner coming into turn number 1. And it was Costello and Hauk battling for 3rd. Both those drivers going off over in turn number 1. Not sure whether or not they were able to get back onto the racetrack or not. Getting another full course yellow. Rusty Bell, what do you think happened over there?
All 3 stuck in the gravel trap right now. Nobody able to get through that. They just made side-to-side contact, I think, right through the middle of the turn. Not sure if it was the 58 that started that or not, but sounds like we're going to take a look.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the replay. Rusty, of course, giving it from his vantage point over on the back straightaway. Here's a look. Very clean and green through for Taylor and Giafoni. You watch both those drivers coming through. It looks like Hauk maybe got into the corner. He was turned in, but it looks like the car maybe wiggled a bit on him, and he pushed wide into Costello. So I think that Hauk was trying to roll the corner and probably lost a rear bit on the entry. John, would you agree?
I would agree. On the restart, I saw a car dive to the inside to try to make a pass at the inside of turn 1, and I'm guessing that was Hauk trying to make up a position, and he just left his braking a little bit too late into that very slippery turn and just, drifted wide and into the car on the outside, and that's what caused the problem.
Hey, listen, you've driven before when you're a race car driver and you get what we call a run.
Yep.
I mean, you're coming out of a corner and you got to run. You're like, I got this guy.
Yeah.
Whatever's happened, I'm taking this. I got to run on him. And he gets a run and you go to the inside. But again, if there's no grip down there, if you're having to get the car to turn a little bit, it doesn't come out that way. And in a race like this, you want patience. Look at Joey Brienza right now. He's P4. Brienza started in 10th position. He's 4th. Ayrton Hauk was 14th. He came across the line in 4th. Patience. You started 14th. If you're running 4th, get away. Just let it happen. You're going to be able to, to come home with a good result. Sam Corey started 11th.
Yeah, he's 3rd.
He's 3rd.
Yeah.
These drivers and then Papasavas is back into the 5th position right now. Again, no instant responsibility for him. He spun.
Right.
A contact, of course, with Quinn Armstrong, but it wasn't intentional. It just happened after a spin. So he's back up to 5th place already. A driver looking to get some points. You got guys further back like Max Garcia now back up into 10th position. The lack of patience right now is not something we're trying to get it across these drivers. Just bring it home sometimes.
Yeah.
And let the race
come
happen.
to you.
Let it open
yeah.
up. These guys are trying to do everything on the opening lap, where if they just let it open up, you're going to stretch away quickly. Let 2-3 laps go by. You're going to find yourself in the top 5 and no one's catching you.
Yeah.
You just got to be patient.
And now you see some drivers going offline behind the safety car looking for water to keep those rain tires cool, because as the track begins to dry, these rain tires are going to go away very quickly. It's a very soft rubber compound, and it will wear down to a slick very, very quickly if they don't take the opportunity to cool it off at every option.
Again, this is just such a wrinkle here for the guys in USF Juniors who are going to be coming down here to the false grid pretty soon, thinking about their race, which is set to go at about 5:50 here local time. So, indeed, they're all wondering, how do we play this? Are we going to be on? Again, it's kind of set up in the car a little bit too, right?
Sure.
If you know it's full wet, you can set the car up a little bit differently than if it's full dry conditions. So everybody wondering what they're going to do, how they're going to play the game here right now. And again, here we are with 6 laps down. How many? If we had maybe 2 full green flag laps, if that.
If that, yeah. I don't know that we got a full lap.
No, I don't know that we have either. Drivers having so much trouble here in the wet right now in USF 2000. And again, our first wet race of the year. Again, we've had a test here in the wet. There's been wet testing throughout the year. I believe our first full wet race, though. But indeed, here we go. Let's try it again. Back around again for the drivers here in USF 2000. Pace car will lead them to complete lap number 7. And ideally, again, this could be a longer cleanup for sure as well as they come through turn number 1. We're talking about 3 cars stuck over there. Rusty, can you see the scene? Are they on it? Is there a couple cars even? Is even one gone yet?
2 cars are already out of the gravel.
Yeah.
The 8 is up onto the track right now. Just needs to refire, and he'll be underway, but he's going to lose a lap here as the pace car goes by. But Costello will be underway here. They're just holding him until the field goes by.
Yeah, I feel a bit there for Michael Costello. He had a really good race car in the dry, and of course, looking at it here in the wet as well. Just a tough one there for Ayrton Hauk to throw it to the inside to try to make it happen. And I understand the aggression. He's trying to bounce his way back. He's currently sitting 10th place in points. Hey, I'm good in the wet. I had a good run. I'm going to P3. I'm going to get cleanly through here and be able to pull away with the leaders. Maybe I could even win this thing, right? You're thinking that you could even win it. Instead, you find yourself in the gravel trap and, the best laid plans of mice and men, right?
Exactly. So we're showing 2 cars a lap down. Thomas Schrage, who was involved in that incident up at the keyhole on the first lap. Jace Bacon, who went off probably to avoid the incident here at turn 1. So he's being shown a lap down as well. Then Ayrton Hauk is also 1 lap down. He just came by our vantage point. Michael Costello being shown 2 laps down, and Quinn Armstrong retired after that damage to the rear of his car in that first lap incident there at turn 6.
So let's have a look at the top 10 as we have some time here and see these drivers who have benefited from all this chaos. Max Taylor started in 7th. He's now the leader. Nicholas Giafoni's 4th. He's 2nd. Sam Corey outside the top 10, 11th. He is now 3rd. Joey Brienza started in 10th. He is up into 4th. Papasavos was P1, back to 9th. Now he's 5th. Brady Golan started 13th. He's up to 6th spot. Hudson Schwartz was 15th. He's up to 7th. Maxwell Jameson, 17th. He's up to 8th. Lucas Fakuri, who started 9th. That's where he runs, held station. Max Garcia, who got a penalty for a spin under yellow, went to the very tail of the field, now finds himself back up to 10th. Literally, you and I could go there, stay out of trouble, just run around the back and get top 10s here, I think.
Well, the pace car's leading the race right now.
That's true.
So, that's the way it looks. Max Garcia, of course, the points leader with 4 wins on the season, obviously has the skills to make it happen, but got a little over exuberant coming down the hill there at turn 5, out of turn 5, and but he's making inroads back. He's back up into the top 10.
I will say this: behind Max Garcia right now are Sam Corey, Evagoras Papasavas, Max Taylor, and Joey Brienza. All 4 of those drivers now run in front of him on the racetrack. So now Garcia's going to keep coming forward. We know he's going to be able to be fine in the wet. He had a little bit of a spin there. But again, all you can do as a driver when you're trying to get back into a championship is beat the guy who's P1. Right? As long as you're closing to the guy who's at the top of the charts, P1, that's the key. And get it done like that. So again, all these drivers up front need to think about that and do the best they can here. Outside the top 10, good run, as I said, for Max Garcia. Carson Eder started 12th. He's 11th. Giovanni Cabrera started 18th. He's up into 12th. So +6 for Cabrera, staying out of trouble, keeping away, and, of course, avoiding all the incidents in front of him as well. Elliot Cox with that penalty. He is now into 13th spot. Again, I believe he's still, though, on the lead lap. We need Cox on the lead lap still. 13 cars remain on the lead lap of the 18 that started incidents like crazy over the first half of this race. Even if we go green this next time by, it'll be 9 of the 20 laps. So, indeed.
And we're halfway through the time. We just passed 20 minutes, so we've got 20 minutes remaining. So we're halfway through the time, and we're not quite halfway through the laps. So if we can keep it green the rest of the way, they might get all the laps in, but time may well be a factor here.
Tom Michael, looks to me like the lights are out on the pace car, I think.
Well, we'll watch it as it comes by. We'll look at the back end. Yes, indeed, they are out. We should be getting to start.
Yeah, let's go racing here, guys. Let's see if we can't get some laps in. And the key is, and John brought it out, the fact that potentially we got a drying racetrack, but then we're getting reports from our guys in the track, John, that the rain coming back down again. So, all right.
Let's have some more fun.
Let's have some more fun.
Yeah, it's raining here on the front straightaway. You can see it in the puddles. So
yeah, let's and significantly. Yeah. So again, the USF junior drivers who are wondering whether or not they're going to get a dry track.
No.
Potentially not now.
I'm guessing no. Yeah.
They still have a half an hour before they're to take to the track anyways. 5:50, I believe, the scheduled start time for USF juniors. That event being moved to the end of the day after an issue with the track needed repair over in turn number 4. Pace car is gone. We're going to go back at it once again here. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps in here for USF2000. Taylor, Giafoni, Corey, Brienza, and Papasavas, your top 5. You got to watch it coming on the power onto the front straightaway. The minute you jump on the loud pedal, the rear end wants to sweep around, and there goes Carson Eder. Eder into the gravel trap coming out of the corner, and he is going to be beached as well. That'll be another full course yellow. Carson Eder, who was running there just outside the top 10. All it takes is to come on the front straightaway. The car's not straight. You roll on the power, and around it goes. I would expect they're probably going to let them race for a bit here Yeah, they'll probably let him race. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, no, we're all full course caution already. I kind of thought we'd race him down into turn number 4 or 5 at least to see if anybody could have some action. But no, Eder spinning the rear wheels over in exit of turn number 13. What do you do, John? Live and learn, I guess. This is a development series.
Sure.
These drivers learning what not to do in the wet. Tough, tough. As the rain continues to fall here again, and we will not go back to rain. This will be a quick cleanup. The AMR IndyCar crew already working their way out of their post over in turn number 11 and 12 to get back over here. They'll be able to get him hopefully flat-toed out, but I don't think there's going to be any damage on the car.
Yeah, he's just buried in the gravel, and there's no way he could drive out even if he kept the engine running, which he has not. The fast flashing of that rain light indicates that the engine has stalled. So
we got to look at this one here, folks, and I think it was right on the screen. If you watched it from home, you saw Carson go around. So here he is. Look for Carson a little bit further back in that black, red, and blue machine behind Garcia in the black and yellow Advanced Auto Parts car, the Priority Workforce number 57 of Carson. Gives himself some room. Oh, he gets a little bit up on the curbing as well there, and around it goes.
Yep.
You can see back on the throttle, and you touch that curbing a little bit. It's going to be wet. It's going to move around a bit. Unloads the car a little bit as well. He gets on the power and just quickly spins around. And I'll tell you, that is the worst feeling. It's the last thing you want, because the minute you do that, you can hear the engine revs come up right and around you go, and you're like, I didn't do that. You know, he was sitting in the cockpit saying,
yeah,
I didn't just do that.
I
did not just
exactly.
do that. Because he's going to lose a lap, I believe, here as they come all the way back around. Yeah, he's lost a lap here. Only 12 drivers remain now on the lead lap. Taylor, Giafoni, Corey, Brienza, Golan top 5. Papasavas goes to 6. So Golan sounds like he might have been able to get around Papasavas before we went yellow. Schwartz in 7th, Garcia 8th, Maxwell Jameson in 9th, Cox 10th, Facuri 11th, Giovanni Cabrera 12th, 13th Schrag, 14th Hauk, 15th Bacon, then Eder, Costello, and Armstrong. Indeed, they'll drag the machine of Eder back out here, and with it, a yard of gravel. Hopefully they'll get that cleared up there quick too. And I don't know that we'll be able to go back to green even this time by, because it's going to take time to get this thing cleaned up. They might even run him through the pit lane here with where he's lined up.
Oh, they've got the jack. They're gonna get him moved around. And I got to every time we have him here, we got to.
I know where you're going.
The AMR safety crew is so good,
man.
I mean, it is just such a joy to have them with us this weekend. They do a better job than anybody else in the country getting these cars done, and he's already underway. And I don't know if they're going to do any brooming of the gravel or if they're just going to let it sit, but they're just getting the jack reaffixed to the back of the safety vehicle, getting a little encouragement from one of the passengers to hurry up.
Let's go.
And if they hustle, we could go back to green this time.
I think we may be able to, because the drivers are not yet into Thunder Valley.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of debris on the
and
racetrack.
they've got
the blower.
They got the blower out right now. So
yeah.
So they do a little bit more work on getting the blower done. So we were going to go at least one more time around, giving a good shot at trying to get as much gravel as they can off the track there, using that blower.
Because he obviously tracked some gravel onto the racetrack, so they're backing down the front straightaway with the blower aiming toward the infield, basically to blow any of that latent dust off the track. And now he's going to do a quick donut, getting off the racing surface, off to driver's right, as the field is approaching with the safety car in tow. And we're clean here on the front straightaway. Just missed getting a restart this time by, but we should be able to go next time.
Brooms? We don't need no stinking brooms.
We don't need no brooms. We got a blower, man.
That's it. They got that cleaned up nicely. But, yeah, we'll go green this next time by. But I'm telling you, we're looking worried on time to a certain extent because it's getting tighter. We've got 11 laps in the books. I don't think we've done a full lap of green as of yet. Just tough conditions. All these drivers struggling to stay on the racetrack here, just on the power too early. And they've just got to wait. Just wait. Then get back on the power. The car's got to essentially be straight when you get back on power. Otherwise, it's going around. And so many of these corners are tough. The keyhole, downhill, off camber. The minute you get on the throttle early, it's going to start to come around. It's going to start to rotate. It does it in the dry. It's going to do it in the wet as well. They have to be ready for that. Carson Eder will pick up to the tail of the field. He will be a lap down, as will Ayrton Hauk, Jace Bacon, and Carson Eder. So there's 4 drivers rather, Thomas Schrag as well, battling for what essentially will be at this point 13th.
Yep.
they're all on the same lap. So at the tail of the field, they'll be able to battle to see who comes in 13th unless we have more issues. But Max Taylor right now just driving around like, I can't believe what just happened.
Right.
You know, I started further back 7th, get myself up to 3rd. We got the C's parting in turn number 5, coming down the hill. He ends up with the lead, and he is looking to grab his 3rd win of the season, coming off a victory at Road America. He's 2nd place in points in USF Juniors. This would bump him up nicely. The drivers in front of him in the points are still very close. Sam Corey is actually just a couple behind him, so it's not like he's going to overtake anybody in terms of, I think, the top. I don't know if he even goes to 2nd, depending on how they run on track here, but it's definitely going to bring everybody closer to Max Garcia, who's 8th. Lights are out on the pace car. Hopefully we can go racing here.
And the cool thing is, with all of this, I don't want to call it carnage, but with all of the issues that we've had with all the incidents, we only got 2 cars out of the race. We've still got 16 cars running of the 18 that started. So
Indeed, yeah. Just there's the contact, of course, for Quinn Armstrong, as we know. Costello's been circulating around the track, but they probably likely brought it in. I know they came to pit lane a couple of times, so not quite sure what's happening there. But folks, we are hopefully going to go racing here right now. Like John introduced earlier, we have 3 turn announcers out there who I hope will maybe be able to help us out sooner or later. We haven't had
other than to report incidents. Yeah,
they've been fantastic spotters for us so far. But indeed, we'll hopefully get it down to those drivers here right now. Working our way out of the corner. Let's see if this time they can do it. I'm just crossing my fingers. Wait.
Sam Corey's going for it down into turn number 1.
Indeed, here we go, down into turn number 1. Corey thinking about the inside of Giafone, can't quite pull it. Taylor will lead them now up in to turn number 2, the keyhole. Big start here right now for Taylor. A great job for him. And is there any kind of a dry line at all? He'll work his way to the inside. Giafone right there. They're working finally to the outside line. Garcia's going to get a couple of spots. I think he got Schwartz, and maybe going after Papa Savas as they work their way out of turn number 2 now, down in front of Rusty Bell.
Watching him now, the number 3 still out in front. A lot of spray being kicked up. I can't even see the numbers as they go by me, but down under braking, it's still number 3 at the point.
3 wide coming at you, Tom Michaels.
Max Taylor's got the lead, then Giafone, we watch him as there's a good battle developing for the number 4 position. Right now, trying to hold on to his position is Joey Brienza. He's able, no, he's not. He actually drops back a position there. Back to, looks like 5th.
Yeah, Brady Golan, I think, Steve, getting by there.
Single file through the top 5, but that battle for the 5th position is on. It is the 91 that holds that position. Joey Brienza has moved up from 5th, but he has got pressure on his rear wing.
Yeah, great move by Brady Golan to get to the inside, coming down the hill into turn number 6. Brienza had to give it up. Now he's got Evagoras Papasavas there right now. See a number of different lines being used down here through the carousel, some low, some high, 2, 3 wide, further back. Everybody exploring the racetrack here in the search for grip. Well, there you have it, folks. We actually get our first lap in. The driver's coming around here. There's Ayrton Hauk to the right side of the screen. Drive-through penalty and incident responsibility for the contact with he and Costello. Tough one for him. He's not really going to lose much.
He's already a lap down.
Yeah, he's already a lap down, so he's going to lose a couple of spots here right now. But up front again, Max Taylor gifted the lead here, and thus far he's got the spot. Look at this move to the outside on Corey. Max Garcia, your point leader, to the outside. Big run around the outside of turn number 2. A fantastic pass, losing all the grip on the outside. Rusty Bell, a great move from 4th to 3rd.
That was fantastic in the rain here. He's able to make it stick, drives defensively down the straightaway, but has that spot right now.
Yeah, running away with things is Max Taylor, good distance back. Then the number 1 car of Giafone. And then Max Garcia having moved up into that number 3 position.
As the field crest over turn number 8, we're starting to see that racing line really dry out. Drivers staying right in that line, maybe sticking their left side tires out as Max Taylor does to try to find a little wet weather. We're single file through the top 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our closest battle right now is with Elliott Cox and Maxwell Jamison.
Yeah, I think a good scrap a little further up as well. I'll tell you, the driver on the move right now is Max Garcia, closing up now on Nicholas Giafone. You can see that there. Garcia way wide. Giafone going to run the inside. And for Nicholas Nicholas Giaffoni, here's a guy who needs a good result right now. He's had a rough season so far. Winner of the championship last year in USF Juniors. He won here as well in that USF Juniors program at Mid-Ohio. He's back in 9th place in points. He needs to turn some stuff around. He had a really good run on the oval at IRP, but he needs a good race here. He needs to start this weekend off on a high note, get on the podium, get some of that confidence back for the D-Force driver, that confidence he had last year when he stormed his way to the championship. He's having a great fight here right now as Garcia leveraging that outside line. Man, he's done a good job, and he has actually turned the fastest lap of the race so far. Garcia, the man on the move right now. Remember, back into 8th position. He had to fall to the tail of the field after the yellow flag, a spin during the yellow, all the way to the back of the field. He has stormed his way back up and has minimized the damage. He was behind the 4 guys right behind him in points. Now the only guy behind him in points that stands in front of him is Max Taylor. So an opportunity again for Garcia to stretch away from Corey, Papasavas, Brienza. Big right now for him. We'll see if Giaffoni can fight on back. They'll work their way out of turn number 5 down here to turn number 6. You can see everybody getting a better feel for that outside line where that grip normally is on a wet racetrack. Another pass there, I believe, Elliot Cox by Joey Brienza. So Brienza having some trouble. We've watched him kind of go further back here over these last couple of green flag laps. He was up to 4th at one point. First pass by Golan, then Schwartz, and now Elliot Cox, who got penalized as well earlier. He's fought his way back up to 7th as well. So a really solid drive for Elliot Cox coming back forward. Evagoras Papasavas, who had worked his way back to 5th. He's had trouble. Full course yellow again. And again, it's Jace Bacon off the racetrack over in China Beach on the exit of turn number 4. Jace Bacon, his 3rd incident so far today in this race, off over in turn number 4, overcooking into that corner. It's not the first time we've seen drivers there in the wet, but tough one here as we're looking at about 5 laps remaining as they come back around. This one, is this going to go to Taylor, or are they going to get him pulled out of the beach enough for a green-white checker?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
The problem is, and Tom Michaels, you can report on this, they can't get that truck down into the gravel trap because it'll get stuck. Do they have a tow rope long enough to reach that car?
Well, right now they don't have a tow rope. They just got 2 AMR safety crew who trot on over there. They're going to move the truck as close as they can to the dirt, but this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, that's the big issue there when you're right in the middle of the gravel trap there on the outside of turns number 4 and 5. Oh, man, I thought we were going to get a good little run there for a while. Max Taylor.
We had a couple green flag laps.
We got 2 laps, John. Let's jump up and down. We got 2 laps. We were literally crossing our fingers after we had the first lap in the books here, guys, just to try to see if we could get some laps in here in the tough wet conditions. Taylor, Garcia, Giaffoni, your current top 3. 4th is Sam Corey. 5th, Hudson Schwartz. 6th, Brady Golan. 7th, Elliot Cox. Joey Brienza falling back to 8th. You wonder if contact potentially is something bent on that race car because he was running very good up front. He started deeper in the field, as we know, in 10th. Now currently runs in 8th spot. Evagoras Papasavas, who had worked his way back up to 5th, is down there into 9th. And Maxwell Jameson rounding out the top 10. And look at these guys doing a great job getting that car of Jace Bacon out and onto the grass. They're going to keep bringing him back so he's able to work his way onto the track. So we won't go green this time by, obviously, but potentially the next one by because they're going to get Jace on the racetrack here very soon, get him refired likely and back, whether he heads to pit lane or continues on the racetrack. Because the field working its way up out of Thunder Valley now. You can see the great work being done here by the AMR IndyCar safety team. And I'll say, Sean, just enough rope.
Yeah.
Maybe just enough rope to get him out of there. Wow. Yeah. So, again, a little bit of an update from our spotter saying that Bacon just overcooked it coming down into 4 on the brakes. No contact, was essentially by himself on the racetrack and just overcooked it, misjudged the corner, as oftentimes the younger drivers will do. He has gone off in turn number 4, as we said, lost a couple of laps here. Time not good either. We're still seeing 4 laps to go. I'm not being told yet that it's a timed race at this point.
By my clock, we've only got 4 minutes remaining.
All right.
So
we'll see.
I don't think we can get all the laps in, as we're working race lap 16 right now. So.
We also have a very dirty racetrack now because the car came back up and there is dirt all the way across to the entrance of turn 5.
All right, then. There's an update we didn't want to hear. We'll see what happens there when we come back around. Again, as I always say, folks, international field of drivers, but also international fan base. I'll say hello to those of you watching on the YouTube channel, and we have a really fun group of guys and girls that like to be on the chat room with us as well. Just over 3 minutes remaining here, folks, on the time clock for this one. So I'll say hello to those of you all on the chat right now. Hope you're having a good day here today. We are going to come back to potentially the green and white. I'm getting told that's potentially what's happening here right now. So we'll go green-white when we come back around. So how about one lap? And indeed, as Tom Michaels told us, with a track that may not be absolutely perfect. So, again, at least right now, Max Taylor is getting a chance to survey it going through, John. This will be his opportunity to kind of look around and say, okay, what am I dealing with? How much dirt is potentially on the way up into turn 5?
But I have to say, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, my money's on Max Garcia. He has worked his way back up through the field after that spin he had in the first lap. He's already set the fastest lap of the race. I think he's going to be tough to keep behind him for Max Taylor.
And John, is he not owning the outside line? He is committing to the
Absolutely.
outside, coming through the keyhole like nobody else. Everybody else kind of on that middle a little bit, feathering it on the throttle. He's just powering around the outside, letting that thing take a set and just driving around the outside. And he's on the power so much earlier when you're out there as well.
Yep.
You're going to get a better run down the straightaway. Pace car will head into pit lane, folks. It is time to go racing. Talk about a green and white here. One lap dash. You'll see who wins here in USF 2000. The juniors are sitting on the false grid ready to do it all themselves as well. That race set to go in about 15 minutes. Who is going to be on the podium here? Taylor's going to bring him onto the front straightaway, and we are racing. Does Max Garcia have anything for him? Here comes Sam Corey as well on Giafoni as they work their way up into turn number 1. Pretty solid through turn 1. Big move down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's Brady Golan looking to the inside of Hudson Schwartz. Thought better of it and tucked out a little bit there. Here comes the run again. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Taylor. He needs to go to the high side to hold on to the spot. Doesn't go all the way high, but enough, I think, to hold him back. Giafoni there, but Garcia didn't get to do that deep run to the outside. You can see some drying lines into that corner for sure, as Hauk still out there as well. Down the straightaway here into turn number 4 through the kink turn 3. This will be the first opportunity for Taylor to block to the inside. Really, once you get out of turn number 6, it's hard to make any kind of a pass at all. And Taylor, does he overcook it into the corner? He's got the spot right now. Big move to the inside. Golan coming down to the bottom. Cox is there as well. Cox going to try to run the outside. He's going to get Golan and go to 6. Move Cox up to P6. Great final lap here as they work their way down. Big outside run. That is a karting move for sure. These kids know running the outside line from their years of national level karting. Max Taylor looking to bring home his 3rd win on the season. Garcia would be smart to bring it home 2nd. He's got that point lead.
Yep.
Don't throw away a P2. Giafoni's thinking only about trying to get back on the podium, but the guy behind him pushing as well, Sam Corey. Back up over the hill. There'll be multiple lines going into turn number 11 and 12. Taylor looking to get another win. This kid's on fire right now as he comes out of the final corner through the carousel. Can he get it done in the final couple of corners? Indeed, he does. The number 3 of Max Taylor will win. Taylor victorious in a ugly wet race here at Mid-Ohio. Multiple yellows. Double checker from Aaron Likens. Taylor with the win. Garcia 2nd. Giafoni 3rd. Corey 4th. Hudson Schwartz up to 5th. Schwartz started 15th. Plus 10 for Schwartz. Cox ends up in 6th. Golan 7th. Papasavas in 8th. Brienza 9th. And Lucas Facuri rounding out the top 10. I don't know, John. That was a wild one. I'll say this. Max Taylor, another victory. 3 on the season, back-to-back, as he won at Road America as well in the second race there. Big for him. But Max Garcia got sent to the back after a spin in an early yellow to be able to come back up to second.
Yeah.
If he ends up winning the championship, he'll look back at this and go, man, that may have been my best drive of the year.
You bet. No question at all. And, Max Taylor set the fastest lap on the last lap. So he did what he needed to do to keep Garcia behind him, because I'm sure he thought, just as we did, that he's got trouble with Max Garcia behind him, and he did a great job holding him off.
And I don't think it's raining right now. Looking down at that puddle you and I have been looking at, I don't think it's raining right now for sure.
And the skies off to the west where the rain comes from looking kind of blue.
So here, John, update from race control, getting the call here from our production as well, being told that we will not be doing the podium right now for USF 2000. Thinking about rain, thinking about the light, we're going to go right into USF Juniors. So that is kind of the move here right now. The podium will be handled afterwards, but there is your unofficial results. Max Taylor getting the win. Max Garcia in second, Nicholas Giafoni third, Sam Corey in fourth, Hudson Schwartz rounding out the top five. Elliot Cox, a good fight back up after incident responsibility, put him to the tail of the field with his contact with Thomas Schrag. He gets up to sixth. Brady Golan goes seventh. Evagoras Papasavas in eighth. Joey Brienza ninth. And Lucas Fakuri rounding out the top 10. 11th place goes to Maxwell Jameson. 12th for Giovanni Cabrera, who started down in 18th, plus 6 for Cabrera. Thomas Schrag, the first driver, one lap down in 13th. Carson Etter, 14th. Ayrton Hauk, 15th. Jace Bacon, Michael Costello, and, of course, Quinn Armstrong after the opening lap contact with a spinning, pole-sitting Evagoras Papasavas put him to the tail of the field. They'll have to come back and do it all again tomorrow. 2 races for USF 2000 tomorrow as well. Race 2 at 105. One tomorrow for USF 2000, and then they race as well on Sunday morning. So 1 Friday, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday. Max Taylor out of the car, and this is big for this young kid here, running both USF Juniors and USF 2000 this year.
So let's get things underway. Finishing in third spot today, a much-needed podium finish for D-Force Racing. P3 goes to Nicholas Giafoni. Great run for Nicholas in tough conditions. P3 for him. He'll take those points and move him up in closer to the middle of the top 10. Finishing in second, this driver was up front, and then he spun, had to go to the back. Somehow comes back to second for Pabst Racing, Max Garcia. Finishing in second. I don't think anybody knew how this one was going to play out. We already did the interview with this guy here, so we'll just bring him back up for another trophy, another P1 trophy. Folks, back-to-back Jacks here on a single day on a Friday in Mid-Ohio. The winner for VRD, Max Taylor! So again, we'll get the podium lined up here with Max Taylor getting the victory. Max Garcia extending the point lead as well from P2. And again, Nicholas Giafoni, a much-needed podium finish. He likes this racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. Won here en route to a USF Juniors Championship last year. And drivers, I'm just going to tell you, whatever you do, don't spray the photographers. Champagne's good. We move the car out of the way, but don't spray the photographers. We'll get a bill for the camera equipment. Send that to you. All right, guys, I think we're good to go. Come out here and grab that champagne. We're going to do it again 3 times all total here for USF 2000 drivers. Oh, Loomis is getting hosed down. Champagne spray flies, and that wraps up the day. 2 events here, USF Juniors and USF 2000. And folks, copy paste on the name. Control P, it is Max Taylor winning both races, USF 2000 and USF Juniors. Back tomorrow for 4 races here. 2 more USF 2000 races. USF Pro 2000 will kick things off at 8:25 tomorrow morning. And, of course, 1 more race as well for USF 2000. 1 tomorrow and 1 on Sunday. Wrapping things up here from Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen. And it's an American flag for the driver from Hoboken, New Jersey. The winner today in both races, Max Taylor. Folks, thanks for tuning into the broadcast. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.